Okay. Now, next, we are now in a position to discuss the special cases of LPP. The special cases means I will explain all the special cases by different example. Let us directly start with the first one, infeasible solution. Means when do we get infeasible solution, and what is the meaning of infeasible solution? When the values of the variables or x1 x2, there is no common region, between the constraints. You know, in graphical method, when we draw the constraints, we get different lines, and we find the common region by taking the intersection of all these values of x, satisfying the given inequalities. And if there is no common region, there is no common solution, then it is called infeasible solution. So in this case, if there is no x1 x2, we does not satisfy. But how to understand all these things during our simplex procedure? So that we are going to understand now. So our problem is maximize z is equal to 6x1 plus 4x2 subject to x1 plus x2 less than or equal to 5, x1 minus x2 or x2 is greater than or equal to 8, and x1 x2 greater than or equal to 0. Show that the LPP has infeasible solution. First, I will convert this LPP. Into standard form. Minimize z star is equal to minus z. The function was 6x1 plus 4x2. So it will be converted into minus 6x1 minus 4x2 subject to x1 plus x2 plus x3 is equal to 5, and the second constant is greater than or equal to. So I will write the surplus variable x2 minus x4 is equal to 8. But whenever we introduce surplus variable here, we have to also write one extra variable, because if we do not do that, then we will get the starting solution negative, which is not permissible in this simplex procedure. So we have to write one extra variable, which is a dummy variable known as artificial variable. So this constraint is replaced by x2 minus x4 plus x5 is equal to 8. Okay, x2 minus x4 plus x5 is equal to 8. So now I will minimize this subject to this number 1 and number 2, these two constraints. Okay, using these two constraints, and as there is an artificial variable, we know either we use two-phase method or B-game method. Here I am going to use B-game method. You know, for B-game method, we define another function f of x is equal to small fx, that is given function z, plus m times artificial variable. So what is fx here? Fx is this minus 6x1 minus 4x2 plus m times artificial variable. What is the artificial variable introduced in these two equations? This x5 is artificial variable. So I write x5 here plus m into x5. But remember, this artificial variable should be expressed in terms of the the basic variables. Artificial variable in this case will be a basic variable in the initial simplex table. So it should be expressed in terms of non-basic variable. So for that, we will convert this problem, this function in this manner, plus m times x5 is written as x2 or 8 minus x2 plus x4 using this second equation. x5 is equal to 8 minus x2 plus x4, which is substituted over here. Then we simplify this thing, and if you simplify, you will get minus 6x1, then minus 4, or you can write this way, minus 4 plus minus m. So minus 4 minus m into x2, then plus m into x4 and plus 8m. So this is our objective function. Now this function which will write in the simplex table as the last row, and the constraints are this number 1 and number 2. These are the constraints, and as a result we get the following table. Now you can see the table in which we have written the two equations here in these two columns, in these two rows, and here f(x) is written as minus 8m, minus 6, minus 4, minus m, 0, m and 0. Okay. So here we apply the bgame method. Bgame method is nothing but a simplex method. One has to write the function like this, and then we observe these cost coefficients. If all cost coefficients are positive or non-negative, we stop the process in simplex method. Here by putting here m is a penalty, so m is a very large number. Suppose if I put m equal to say 100, then this value becomes minus 4 minus 100, that is what, minus 104. Okay. So minus 104, this is minus 6, these are two negative values. So in our simplex algorithm, what do? We select the most negative value, that is this is the most negative. Okay, just for your understanding, you can keep some particular value in your mind and check which value in this row is most negative value. Okay, so this is the most negative value. The corresponding column x2 column, that is our key column now. So x2 will be our incoming variable. X2 is the variable which is going to enter into the basis, and it will replace either x3 or x5. Now how? We know, again we find the ratio. So if I find the ratio, I will get 5 upon what, 1, that is 5 upon 1, 5. Then second, 8 upon 1, so 8. We have got these two ratios, there are only two equations. Okay, out of these two, 5 and 8, this 5 is the smallest ratio. Okay, so corresponding variable, that is x3 variable, will leave the basis, and it is replaced by the variable x2, because it is our key column. So this is our key element. Okay. So in the next iteration, what we do? We make all numbers above and below this key element 0. So this are to be made 0, and by applying the elementary row operation, we get this following table. Now the main thing we have to understand in this is you observe the last row, objective function row. Put m equal to something to get the idea about what type of values we are getting. Suppose if I put m equal to 10, then 10 minus 2 is 8. This is 0, this is 14, this is 10, okay, and 0. So all values are now non-negative. There is no negative value in the objective function row. So at present, whatever situation is there, it is called optimum solution according to our simplex procedure. Now in this, these are the non-negative values. So current solution, that is x2 equal to 5, we intend to believe that x2 equal to 5 and x5 equal to 3 are the values of variables for the optimum solution. Means this current solution is optimum solution. That may be our conjecture, but it is not so, because here these coefficients are positive, but x5, this is artificial variable. Artificial variable is still in the basis. This is not allowed in the simplex algorithm. So remember, whenever in the optimum stage, all cost coefficients becomes non-negative, but one or more artificial variable is present in the basis, then this solution is said to be infeasible solution. Now why we are getting the infeasible solution? Again you can look back on the screen in PPT that the problem was maximize z is equal to 6x1 plus 4x2, x1 plus x2 is greater than or equal to 5, x2 is greater than or equal to 8. If we draw the graph of this, then we get this kind of graph for those two equations. The first equation was x1 plus x2 less than or equal to 5, that represents this line x1 plus x2 equal to 5, and this is the region satisfying that constraint, and x2 greater than or equal to 8 is this line satisfying this side. So there is no common portion, there is no common region. So such a situation is called infeasible solution. Infeasible solution means we will not get any values of the variables x1, x2, x3, whatever are there, which satisfies all the equations simultaneously. Here there is no value which satisfy all the equations. So this situation is called infeasible. How to determine infeasible solution? When in the optimum stage, when the artificial variable is still present in the basis, the cost coefficient becomes negative, a non-negative, but artificial variable cannot be removed from the basis, then such a situation is called infeasible solution. Okay. Now let us see the next case in your screen, on your screen, the case 2, unbounded solution, where as we know what is unbounded solution, a solution which indefinitely increases or decreases the value of the objective function is called unbounded solution. Here I have taken the problem, maximize z is equal to 4x1 plus x2 plus 3x3 plus 5x4 is equal to 5x4 subject to the conditions. These are the equations given. You observe that the first equation, that is 4x1 minus 6x2 minus 5x3 minus 4x4 greater than or equal to minus 20. So right hand side is minus 20. So we multiply both the side by minus 1, we will make it less than 1. We know how to convert this into standard form. Now after converting this into the standard form, here all constants will be less than or equal to type. So we are going to apply the simplest algorithm. You can see on the screen, this is the table, initial simplex table for that particular problem. In this problem, the x5, x6, x7, these are the basic variables, and here x5, x6, x7, these are variables, all variables are here, and we observe this row of objective function. If all values are non-negative, it is optimum solution, but it is not so. Here minus 4, minus 1, minus 3, there are so many negative values, out of which minus 5 is the most negative. So x4 column is our key column. So x4 is our next variable which will enter into the basis. It is called incoming variable. Okay, and this x4 will replace some of this variable, and for that we are finding the ratio. As you know, 20 divided by 4, that is 20 by 4 is equal to 5, then 10 by 1, that is 10, 20 by 2, that is 10. Out of all these ratios, 5 is the smallest positive ratio. So corresponding variable, that is x5 variable, will leave the basis. This x5 is replaced by x4 in the next iteration. Okay, then we make this number 4 into 1, dividing by whole row by 4, and making all numbers above and below this key element 0, as you can see on the in the next iteration in this table. See the next iteration, all these numbers are 0 above and below this key element. This key element is made 1. Okay, and we get the new situation here by applying the elementary operation. It is a simple or basic simplex method. Now in this you can see that these values, this objective function rho are all not non-negative, but minus 9 is the only negative value. So this will consider as the most negative value that is occurring in the x1 column. This is the x1 column. Okay, and you observe very carefully that all numbers in this x1 column are negative. Okay, so when we are going to find the ratio to determine the outgoing variable, because this minus 9 is most negative, means the corresponding variable which is x1, because minus 9 is lying in the x1 column. So x1 will be our incoming variable, it will enter into the basis. Okay, and to determine the outgoing variable, we are finding the ratios. So 5 upon minus 1, that is minus 5, then 5 upon minus 2, that is minus 5 by 2, 10 upon minus 6, that is minus 10 by 6. All ratios are coming negative. So we cannot find the smallest positive ratio. Whenever we come across this situation, means all the replacement ratios are negative, then you always write your conclusion that the LPP has no solution. It has unbounded solution. The solution does not exist in this case. So we have discussed two cases. The first case was infeasible solution, and the second case is unbounded solution. In infeasible solution, what happens when in the optimum stage the artificial variable cannot be removed from the basis. Artificial variable still remains in the basis even though all the cost coefficients becomes non-negative. While in the unbounded solution, we get all the ratios, replacement ratios which we use to determine the outgoing variable are negative. So when all ratios are negative, write your conclusion that the current solution or the LPP has unbounded solution. Finished. Now let us go for the next case on your screen. Case 3, multiple optimum solution. Now multiple optimum solution means the value of the variables x1, x2 which satisfies all the constraints and gives us the maximum or minimum value which is required. In this LPP, we have the problem of maximization. So we find x1, x2 which satisfy all the constraints and gives us the maximum value. That is called optimum solution. We know optimum solution is a basic feasible solution which gives maximum or minimum value which is required in the given problem. Now multiple optimum solution means it may happen for the same function. There are more than one set of values of the variables x1, x2, etc. એટલે કે જે પણ પ્રોબ્લેમ આપેલો છે એમાં એક કરતાં વધારે એવા x1, x2ની પોસિબિલિટીઝ વેલ્યુઝ મળે કે જે આ બધા કન્સ્ટ્રેન્ટ સેટિસ્ફાય પણ કરતું હોય અને મેક્સિમમ આપે. કારણ કે 6x1 + 4x2 સપોઝ 6x1 + 4x2 કોઈ x1 અને x2 માટે 10 થતું હોય, ફોર એક્ઝામ્પલ x1 = 1, x2 = 2 અને x1 = 1 and x2 = 1 તો એની માટે 10 થાય છે, બરાબર છે. સો ઇટ કેન બી અગેન become 10 for some other set of values of x1 and x2. If this is possible, okay, if we can find x1, x2 more than one set of values of x1 and x2 which satisfy all the constraints, means which is a feasible solution and also gives us a maximum value, then in this problem it is called multiple optimum solution. Okay, this problem will understand that it has a multiple optimum solution. Observe that the first two constraints here on the screen are less than or equal to. The third constraint is greater than or equal to 3. So therefore we introduce surplus